So I'm sure we've all had it. That one figure, you want it. You know you want it. You find it. But then you witness a flaw. It may seem minor, but you cannot overlook it. So you don't get it. So, what am I talking about? Well, I went to a store today. Not today in terms of by the time this video comes out, but today. And while I'm looking around, it's kind of like one of those video game thrift stores, but it's more than that. They have a bunch of cool paintings and pictures and toys and Legos and video games and consoles and pops and all kinds of stuff. They also sell computers and tablets and things of that nature. And while I'm there, I come across Alan Scott. And there are two main figures I have left to get to finish the JSA. And I come across Alan Scott. I need Jay Garrick and Alan Scott. So immediately, Alan Scott, $24, unboxed. Who cares? That's all I need is Alan Scott. I pick him up. I look at him. And I can't help but feel like something is wrong. And I kept moving him to try to figure it out. And I kept saying, am I seeing that right? Is that right? So a little context. I'm red-green deficient. I have a type of color blindness, and it's pretty irritating from time to time because I can't necessarily guarantee what it is I'm seeing or not seeing. And sometimes it takes me a while to adjust or to kind of let my mind realize exactly what color I'm looking at. Or sometimes the color that I'm looking at can seem to alter or change depending on even the angle and the lighting that's on a thing. So I'm really trying to determine if what I am seeing is what I am seeing. Luckily, I got my wife with me because she comes over and she looks at it and she goes, "What is that?" And I go, "Well, he's Alan Scott. He's the first Green Lantern. And he's one of the last guys I need for my JSA." And she goes, "Neat. Is that why he's green?" And I was like, I am seeing that. I said, so I'm not imagining he's kind of one color on another side and another color on another side. She looks at him. "Oh no, that's what you're seeing." They added a lighting effect to that one. I don't need lighting effects on my figures. They did the same thing to the Batman that they sell in that 3-pack for the Injustice 2 3-pack, where it's Superwoman, Batman. It's Supergirl, Batman, and somebody else. I can't remember. Is it Dr. Fate? I think it's Dr. Fate. But I'm looking and I see it and I'm like, great. There went that. I don't want that. Now, I go online and I check out Amazon and I'm like, is this the way that is? And I find the one on Amazon that I've been eyeing for a while. He's $49 on Amazon. And he seems not like that. He seems very much different. So now I'm under the impression, I know there were a couple of them. There was one where he's got a flaming sword and he's got all this effect and whatnot coming off of his eyes and things. And then there seems to be this other one that has the lighting effect on it. And then there's a normal one. The normal one is the one I want. I don't want a figure that already has the lighting effect added to it. And maybe that's just me, but I tend to not like it when figures come out and things have been added to them that I simply don't want. I don't need a lighting effect on the figure. Now, it's a little bit different on something like this Mega Man. On this Mega Man, the blue fades out, and it's a brighter blue as it goes down onto the helmet, but it's not a lighting effect. It's not as if I'm meant to think that the light is hitting him right here and that it darkens around, because it's also on the edges of the helmet. It's anywhere that this blue is, it lightens and goes into the blue instead of a hard transition from this blue to that blue. And I am actually okay with that because it's consistent across the figure and it's actually kind of neat. That doesn't bother me. But I prefer my figures to be unmarked. See how the light hits her because she's actually 3D, and as a 3D character in a 3D space, the light will hit her and it will bounce off of her and create the lighting effect? That's all I need. And if I want to be able to do my own photographs, like say him holding out a lantern and putting his ring up to the lantern or something like that, and a green light coming back on him and kind of get a closer picture with him like powering up the ring, I could do that simply with the ring light that I have that's to the side of me. There's a ring light to the side of me, and I can choose what color I want it to be. I could turn off the main lights, turn that light on, make it green, get a decent photograph, done. I don't need them to apply a green color to the figure that will only be noticeable in certain sunlight, and then will still be kind of odd because if I move him, since he's a 3D thing in a 3D space, as I move him now, the shadows and light that's actually on him will look awkward because there's actually shadow and light on him as opposed to the shadow and light that was painted on him. I don't need that. I know I'm whining about something simple, but it really did get me remembering there are certain things that are done in toys that I simply don't like. I'm not a fan of them adding the cell shading lighting effects where they paint the shadows onto the figure. I don't want that. I'm not actually a big fan of those figures that come out that like have the pixel paint job so that they kind of look like they were pixel characters. And I get the idea. They're selling video game-esque characters. They want to do the painting so you kind of get that feeling like, oh, cool. Then, he's pixel art or whatever. But in all honesty, I don't want that. I don't want the shadows painted on. I don't want light effects painted on. Maybe I'm simple, but when I get my figure, I just want my figure to be my figure painted just normal, and I will apply those effects as needed. Say, I want that person to be pixelated. There's usually a pixel type effect on most picture editors. I'll just apply that. Like, I don't need the figure to have that. If I want it to look like it's from a video game, I will apply the pixel effect. If I want it to be shadowed, I will apply the direct light to create the shadows I want. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't need it. I don't need them to give me a phoenix and then give me the Firebird and then apply all the fire effect going up through the bird and then kind of paint Jean Grey like she's darker and all the shadows are coming off of her or something. I will do that myself, as I did in this photograph right here. I will do that. What about you? Do you like this kind of thing where they add lighting effects to the character? Because it drives me crazy, and it actually makes me skip on figures that otherwise I feel like I definitely would have bought. Let me know.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.